Up at the top of your paper on set 3, if you used a 60-degree angle, then you're going to draw a 6 centimeter line segment. If you used 40, you're going to do a 7 centimeter, just because I want us to be different. Okay, so you're either doing 6 centimeters or 7 centimeters. Pick one. Okay, and then whichever one you pick, label it so that you remember what the heck you did the first time. Then you are going to need a 60 and a 40-degree angle. I need you to lend me 2 40-degree angles, and I will cut you more for tomorrow, okay? Okay, thank you. Oh, dang it. You'll have to remind me when you run out tomorrow that I'm supposed to have angles for, because I'll have them. All right. And then after you draw your line segment, label whatever it happens to be. Then you're going to take a 60 and a 40, and you're going to put them on here like this. Okay? And just go ahead and glue them down. So I'm going to glue one angle at the end of each end of the line segment. That's what I'm trying to say. Turn that off, please. Push. Okay. Everybody understand what to do? So just draw a line segment, 6 centimeters or 7 centimeters. Draw glue a 40 and a 60 on either end of it. And then do the same thing underneath it. I'm going to flip mine over again so I know I have enough room. And so down here, I'm going to make this 6 centimeters. And I'm going to glue a 40 and a 60 down. So if this is what we're starting with what we know, and what we know to be congruent. On the one we just did, that was 2 sides and the included angle. This is 2 angles and what? What do you think? The included side, exactly. So this is 2 angles and the included side, with the word included being very, very important there. So what I start off knowing is that this side is congruent to this side. I don't even have a full triangle yet, right? But 40 is congruent to 40, and 60 is congruent to 60. So that is 2 angles, and the included side is where we start, okay? Knowing those pieces are congruent. Everybody with me? Make sure that you have 2 of them on there. So now I need to complete my triangles, and when I do that, I don't know exactly how long to draw the line segments because that wasn't something that I started with. But if I lay my ruler down here, and I'm going to continue this line segment, but I'm going to make it dotted because I don't know exactly where it's supposed to go. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this angle, make it dotted, and then I can see right there where they intersect. Does that make sense to you? So now I can actually see my triangle. This is just extra stuff here. And then do the same thing with the other one. So that you've created 2 triangles. Now, look at your triangles. Don't just assume the answer is that they're congruent, because remember, some of these aren't going to work. Does it look like your triangles are probably congruent? Yeah, I think it kind of does too, right? So once you've gotten this far, I know some of y'all are still getting to the triangle part of it, but then once you get there, let's go ahead and measure the lines, the sides that we actually ended up with. Okay, so, and don't just copy mine because that's not necessarily what you have. And remember, we are going for pretty darn close here, right? Yeah, you just draw it in and see where they intersect. Because mine didn't come out exact as each other, and that's okay. But I feel like one of them being 3.9 and one of them being 4.1, it's pretty close. I can round that out to 4, right? Let's take the average. And then I got 5.3 and a 5.4. It all has to do with exactly how the angle was cut and things like that. I mean, the angles are truly that size, but it's all a little bit in the cutting. Hopefully, some of y'all had better measurements than I did. So when it asks for the so the actual next question is, what's the measure of the third angle for each triangle? What does the third angle have to be? 80. Okay, so we know that because we can subtract, right? And then it says, what are the measures of the remaining two sides? So you write whatever yours are. Mine don't match, so I don't want to list all 4 of them, but instead of 3.9 and 4.1, I'm going to say 4. Sounds good. And then I'm just going to pick one of those. I'll go with 5.4. So you put whatever it happens to be. Whatever your answers are down there, because your answers are probably a little bit different than mine. Okay. So given that then, are these two triangles congruent? Yes. By the definition of congruent triangles? We could, right? Could I use by congruent triangles? Do I have now all 3 sets of sides and all 3 sets of angles that I know are congruent? Yeah, because really I could have used definition of congruent triangles on the other one too if I could have found the angle measures. I could actually use side, angle, side. I could also use side, 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 right? It doesn't really matter. I got lots of options there. But what turns out to be true is that yes, they are congruent, and we can go ahead and say by side, side, side. It's a little bit easier because I wouldn't even have to find that angle. So did the others in your group, meaning your group being like the class, that use different side lengths get different, did you get congruent triangles? Yes. Are all of our triangles congruent to each other? No. Did we each get a set of congruent triangles? Yes, and that's all we're really looking for. So the answer is yes, which means this one's going to work every single time. Okay? So what this is, since it is 2 angles in the included side, this is angle, side, angle, which abbreviates to ASA, congruence. Okay, we all good? All right, now I want you to close this like you're going to put it in your ISN, and then up at the top, we're going to list out the 3 shortcuts we talked about today, because all 3 that we did today did work. Side, 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 congruence, side, angle, side, congruence, and angle, side, angle, congruence. Okay? Everybody okay with that? Any questions? All right, so you can go ahead and glue this in on page 58. Put all of your extra stuff back in your little baggie. Straws included because we're going to use these again tomorrow. Then you can put your baggie in your, the little baggies in the big baggie, and I'll come around and get them. Okay. Where are you going? Okay. Yeah, you can go. You have about 5 minutes. You got to be able to be back, though, because I can't write you a pass. So see, everybody said that they missed you. Do you want to tell them that you're moving? Yeah? No? Well, you want to be able to say goodbye. Yes, you do. Okay. Well, I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything, but Nick's moving to spring, so this is his last day. So we can at least say goodbye, Nick. If you don't tell anybody that you're leaving, we can't say goodbye, okay? Westfield? It's in Spring ISD. Westfield High School? Yeah. So what's their mascot? Do you know? Do you even know? I don't know either. Mustangs? Oh, there's still horses. That's good. Yeah. I feel like they're red too, but I could be making that up. Oh, we'll see. Maybe. I don't know. You good on all that? What I was going to do, but now I don't. Oh, shoot. I never even stopped this. I'm going to have to go back. I can go back and edit. I forget to hit stop sometimes. Still talking.